"Look at those wrinkles, mother-in-law. You look like a crumpled paper bag," Madison sneered, pointing at my face while the whole family laughed at my own dinner table. The next day, her designer suitcases were sitting on the curb, and the locks on my house had been changed forever. But let me tell you how a 58-year-old woman who had given everything for her family decided to reclaim her dignity in the most unexpected way. It all started that Sunday afternoon when I thought I was preparing a normal family dinner. The aroma of my famous pot roast filled my kitchen, the same kitchen where I'd prepared thousands of meals for my children. Madison arrived in her designer dress and that fake smile she'd perfected since marrying my Robert 4 years ago. "Oh, Carol," she said, while settling into the head of my table. "Have you tried those anti-aging creams they sell at Sephora? Because, honey, it's about time." Her words hit me like ice cubes down my back. My son Robert laughed nervously, and my other 2 children, Emma and Sebastian, sat there uncomfortably staring at their plates. In that moment, with my fork trembling in my hand, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years. A pure, clean rage that ran through me from my toes to the tips of my hair. This woman, who had come into my family with nothing, who had lived in my house for the first 2 years of marriage, who had eaten my food and slept under my roof, dared to humiliate me in front of my own children. Before I continue with this emotional story, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling me where you're watching from. I'm sure my story will touch your heart. That same night, while Madison was snoring in the guest room like she owned the place, I was wide awake, planning something I never thought I'd do. I quietly got up and went to my desk, the same desk where I'd signed the mortgage for this house 30 years ago, working double shifts as a registered nurse to afford it. I pulled out all the documents, the deed, utility bills, property titles. Everything was in my name. Carol Elizabeth Henderson, the papers read. My name, my sacrifice, my legacy. I remembered when Robert was 17 and begged me not to sell this house to pay for his college tuition. "Mom, this house is our home. All our memories are here," he had said with tears in his eyes. I worked 3 jobs to avoid selling it. I cleaned offices at night, worked as a home health aide on weekends, and continued working as an RN during the day. My hands became rough, my back got injured, my feet swelled, but I kept this house because it was the legacy I wanted to leave my children. And now, that same person I had sacrificed my health for was allowing his wife to treat me like I was a burden, like my wrinkles were something to be ashamed of. Every line on my face had been earned honestly. The ones around my eyes from smiling at their graduations, the ones on my forehead from nights of worry when they were sick, the ones around my mouth from all the kisses I'd given them since they were babies. I picked up my phone and dialed a number I'd been keeping for months. "Attorney Williams, this is Carol Henderson. Remember you told me that if I ever wanted to sell my house, you knew serious buyers? Well, I think the time has come." The lawyer's sleepy voice immediately cleared up. "Mrs. Henderson, are you sure? It's a very valuable house in an excellent neighborhood. We could get an extraordinary price." "Exactly what I needed to hear," I said, feeling a genuine smile cross my face for the first time in months. "But I have some special conditions for the sale." What happened next changed everything forever. The next morning, Madison got up as usual, stomping across my hardwood floors with her expensive heels, the ones I'd given her for her birthday last year. She headed to the kitchen like she was the queen of the castle, preparing one of those ridiculous breakfasts that consisted of lemon water and 2 almonds. "Good morning, mother-in-law," she said in that syrupy voice she used when she wanted something. "I've been thinking about what I told you yesterday about those creams. You should really consider professional treatment. At your age, you can't afford to neglect yourself." Robert came downstairs and automatically headed toward me to get his morning coffee, as he had done for 42 years of his life. But Madison intercepted his path. "Honey, you don't drink coffee with sugar anymore, remember? I switched you to green tea. It's much better for your skin." I watched my son, this man who had once told me I was the most beautiful woman in the world, obediently nod to his wife. It was like watching a lion turned into a domesticated kitten. "Mom," Robert said after taking the first sip of his bitter tea, "Madison and I have been talking. This house is too big for you alone, and we need more space. We thought it would be a good idea for you to move to something smaller, more suitable for your current needs. There it was, the final move. They wanted to keep my house, my patrimony, everything I had built with my own hands. Madison looked at me with that triumphant smile, expecting me to break down, to beg, to humiliate myself once more. But I had my own surprise ready. "You know what?" I said, with the calm of someone holding all the winning cards. "You're right. This house is too big for me alone." Madison practically glowed with satisfaction. Robert looked relieved that I had accepted so easily. "In fact," I continued, "I already found the perfect solution. Yesterday I spoke with Attorney Williams, and it turns out he has a buyer who's willing to pay full price in cash. The sale closes this Friday." The silence that followed was so deep, you could hear the tick-tock of the grandfather clock that had belonged to my grandmother. "What? What did you say?" Madison stammered, her smile fading like sugar in the rain. "I sold the house," I repeated, savoring every word, furniture and all. "The new owner takes possession Saturday morning." Madison's face went through every color of the rainbow, first white as paper, then red as a tomato, then purple as an eggplant. Her eyes opened so wide I thought they were going to pop out of their sockets. "You can't do that!" she screamed. Jumping up so fast, she knocked over her green teacup, staining my embroidered tablecloth, the same one my mother had made for my wedding. "This house belongs to Robert, too. He has rights." I remained very calm, enjoying my coffee with 2 spoonfuls of sugar, exactly the way I liked it. "Rights? To what?" I asked with feigned innocence. "This house is completely in my name. Your husband never put a single dollar toward buying it, maintaining it, or improving it." Robert stared at me with his mouth open, as if he were seeing me for the first time in his life. "Mom, but, this is the family house. Our memories are here, our traditions." "Oh, now you care about memories?" I asked, feeling a strength growing inside me that I didn't know I had. "The same memories you allowed your wife to trample yesterday when she mocked the wrinkles I earned raising you? The same traditions you've been abandoning little by little to please this woman?" Madison paced around the kitchen like a caged animal, gesticulating dramatically. "This is revenge. Revenge from a bitter old woman who can't stand that her son is happy." Her words hurt, but they weren't going to break me anymore. "Revenge?" I repeated, slowly rising from my chair. "No, sweetheart. This is called dignity, something you don't know and something I had forgotten I possessed." At that moment, the doorbell rang. Through the window, I saw an elegant car parked in the driveway. "Oh, that must be Attorney Williams with the final documents," I said, walking toward the door with firm steps. The lawyer entered with his briefcase and a professional smile. He was an older man, the kind who inspires confidence immediately. "Good morning, Mrs. Henderson. I have excellent news. The buyer not only accepts paying full price, but offers an additional 10% if we can close the deal today." Madison and Robert were petrified. The number the attorney mentioned was enough for me to buy a new house and have a very comfortable retirement. "Perfect," I said, taking the pen he offered me. "Where do I sign?" But before putting my name on the documents, I turned to my daughter-in-law and said something I had been waiting to say for 4 long years. "By the way, Madison, you're going to need to find another place to live. The contract specifies that the house must be delivered completely vacant." What followed was a spectacle worthy of a daytime soap opera. Madison began to cry, but these weren't tears of sadness, but of pure rage. "You can't kick us out like this. We're your family. Robert is your son." "Exactly," I said, signing the last document with my best penmanship. "Robert is my son, not your puppet. And as his mother, I have the right to teach him a lesson he should have learned long ago. Respect is earned, not demanded." My son finally found his voice. "Mom, please, this is crazy. You can't destroy our family over one stupid comment from Madison." I approached him, this man I had carried in my womb for 9 months, whom I had cared for when he had chickenpox, whom I had comforted when his first love left him, whom I had applauded at his college graduation. I took his hands, those hands I had bandaged when he got hurt as a child. "Robert, love of my life," I said in a soft but firm voice, "our family isn't being destroyed. It's being rebuilt on a foundation of mutual respect. For 4 years I've endured your wife's humiliations because I believed love could conquer all. But love without respect isn't love, it's submission." His eyes filled with tears, and for a moment I saw the little boy who used to run into my arms when he had nightmares. "But Mom, where are we going to live? We don't have money saved for an apartment." Madison stopped crying immediately. "What do you mean we don't have money? What about the money I give you every month to save?" Robert's silence was more eloquent than any confession. His wife looked at him with a mixture of horror and understanding. "Robert, what did you do with the money?" My son lowered his head like when he was little and had done something wrong. I spent it on Mario's business and on some investments." "What?" Madison screamed, with a voice so shrill it made the crystals in my china cabinet tremble. "You lost my savings on your drunk friend's stupid businesses." And that's when their perfect marriage crumbled like a house of cards in the rain. Attorney Williams, who had been a silent witness to all the drama, cleared his throat discreetly. "Mrs. Henderson, if I may, there's something else you should know about the buyer of your house." We all turned toward him. "What?" I asked, intrigued. "Well, it turns out the buyer is your sister Teresa. She asked me to keep it secret until after the signing, but now that it's official," he smiled conspiratorially, "she mentioned something about turning this house into a home for older women who need a fresh start in life." My heart stopped. Teresa, my younger sister, who had always been my accomplice, my confidant, my best friend. At that precise moment, as if she had been waiting for her triumphant entrance, the doorbell rang again. This time it was Teresa, with her perfectly styled silver hair and that mischievous smile I'd known since we were girls. "Surprise!" she exclaimed, entering like a hurricane of positive energy. "Did you tell her, attorney?" I was speechless, my eyes filled with tears of gratitude. My sister came over and hugged me tight, whispering in my ear, "Nobody mistreats my big sister and gets away with it. Nobody." "But Teresa," I managed to say, "this must have cost a fortune." "So what?" she said, winking at me. "What's the point of marrying a rich guy if you can't rescue your sister when she needs it? Besides, I always dreamed of having a project like this. This house will be perfect for women like us who deserve to live our golden years with dignity and joy." Madison and Robert looked at us like we were aliens speaking an unknown language. The reality of their situation was finally beginning to sink into their brains. "Wait," Madison said in a broken voice, "so what are we going to do?" Teresa looked her up and down with that expression she used when evaluating people. "Well, honey, I guess you'll have to learn to be independent. It's a valuable lesson at any age." She turned to Robert with a mixture of disappointment and affection. "And you, dear nephew, maybe it's time you remembered who taught you to walk, to talk, to be a man. Your mother isn't punishing you. She's freeing you from a toxic relationship that was turning you into someone she doesn't recognize." The following days were a whirlwind of activity. Madison packed her belongings with impressive speed, calling her parents between tears to come pick her up. Robert looked lost, as if he was finally waking up from a long dream. A week later, while Teresa and I planned the house renovations, Robert came to visit me. He arrived alone, without Madison, carrying a bouquet of flowers and an expression of genuine humility. "Mom," he said, "I think I lost my way somewhere along the line. I got carried away trying to please Madison and forgot what really matters. You were always my compass, and I allowed someone else to move it." I hugged him, feeling like I was getting my real son back. "Robert, it's never too late to find your way back home." 6 months later, our butterfly house, as we decided to call it, opened its doors. 6 extraordinary women, all with stories similar to mine, found here a refuge where their wrinkles are considered maps of wisdom, not reasons for mockery. Robert divorced Madison when he discovered she had been cheating on him with her personal trainer for 2 years. Now he lives in a small but dignified apartment, works honestly, and comes to visit me every Sunday to eat pot roast and make up for lost time. And Madison? The last I heard, she was living with her parents, trying to find another man to maintain her lifestyle. But that's no longer my story to tell. If this story touched your soul, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Remember, you're never too old to reclaim your dignity, and it's never too late to teach your family the true meaning of respect. For the next story, click the box on the left. Thank you for joining me on this journey of healing and justice.